Putting on your Granger hat, you walk into a customer facility. What should you be looking for? Who should you be talking to? And what types of questions should you be asking them in order to sell Foster products?
I think we always want to go back to the safety. Do you have any safety issues or anything like that? Recent safety, ergonomics, because that right there can hurt a company. The liability of having the wrong fitting out there from the beginning, for sure.
Or OSHA fines.
Yes. I mean, no company wants an OSHA representative come to their facility.
Right. I'd look for as well. If there's a 5S initiative, because if they want everything in its own place, or they're minimizing, let's say they're using more hydraulic fluids, and they don't want it to spill because it creates a slippery surface. So they might be interested in the flat face offering. There might be similar QD, but they might have nitrogen or air or argon,
trying to keep
carbon
different
dioxide.
lines.
Right. And so we want to talk about the color coding that could be used. We might be able to flip or keyway so that they can't cross the lines as well.
I think another one too is I'm walking through a facility. If I see multiple brands, I like to point out, we have such a big breadth of products. Have you ever thought about just either using one manufacturer or slimming down? Like we showed with that one fitting, you have that different option of having one fitting take care of multiple profiles. You don't have to have that many lines of access for purchasing. So that's another good one as well.
Yeah, I'll use that as a segue because I think too, if they're seeing their fittings fail quicker than they expected, or say it the other way, they expected it to last longer, it might be that there's a seal compatibility issue with the fluid or the temperature. And so they're just using a standard Buna N, and it might be better for an EPDM or a Viton or a CalRes, depending if they really get high with the temperature. So we want to explore what the temperature is, what the fluid or the media is, if there's any side loads, pressure spikes, vibration. These are different things that go into the selection of the Quick Connect.
When you actually call our customer service team, that's some of the information that an end user would come in and call and ask, what size are you, like, what's the application, what's the media, those pertinent information and that we need to help identify the actual proper fitting that you would need. There's a lot of people that say, I just need a 1/4-inch QD. Well, that could be a lot of different fittings in our world, If it's something that has hot water, you're not going to want a straight through for that fitting. So there's different avenues that we can ask the customers, and even going into a plant to help eliminate, the wrong QD selection.
Depending on the flow of the conversation, you'd ask about if there's been flow concerns. So I like to use that word in there twice for you, flow, yeah, or pressure. And so we might be unique in what we could do with the valve configurations to minimize a flow restriction, which creates a pressure drop. So equate it to the medical world. They always say, I need more suction. Okay, the equipment is your limiting factor. And so there might be things that we could do with the connector, the connection fitting, to help overcome some of these issues.
I think I had somebody not too long ago saying, hey, I'm just not getting enough flow. Well, you're using a 1/4-inch body, but it's still a 1/4-inch body regardless of how big of the end is. You're only going to get so much flow because it's a 1/4 inch. And a lot of people don't realize that there's that different deviation on how to pick out parts, especially when it comes to pressure and the media and the flow.
Very helpful for the Granger sales force. It sounds like a lot of this will help make sure that the customer gets the right product for their application, because like you said, depending on the temperature, depending on the pressure, you may want a different seal or a different material type. So it all depends, and this is great information to be able to help educate them when they go out and talk to their customers.
Another point with that too, James, if you don't mind, I know we talked about the resources within our catalog. There's also a back page where it talks about the different types of media and the actual materials. A lot of people don't realize that when you're using a hydraulic oil, there's a couple different types of hydraulic oil, a water base and an oil base, and they each one take a different type of media. A lot of people don't know that. Some people don't realize that you can only use brass or steel with certain types of chemicals too, because you might have a spark, diesel fuel, things like that. So we also want to make sure that we're promoting and having that out there, that a customer knows for safety concerns what the other materials are out there, or even help give guidance for the different sizes and the different material needed for applications.
So the theme here is application focus. So if we can know pressure, if you can know fluid compatibility, temperature, side loads, size, and any safety features.